Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to another session here at the Level Up English podcast. I'm Nova, and I am so glad you've decided to invest your time with us today.
And I'm Atlas. We know your time is your most valuable asset, more valuable than your capital, more valuable than your property. So we don't take it lightly that you're spending it here with us.
You know, Atlas, looking at our community feedback this week, I noticed a recurring theme. We receive so many messages from learners who say things like, Nova, I know the grammar rules, I can pass a test, but when I walk into a boardroom, I don't feel like a leader.
I feel like a fraud.
Exactly. They say, I have the words, but I lack the confidence to use them in high-stakes moments. They feel small.
That's because most people treat English like a school subject, Nova. They treat it like math or geography. They memorize a list of verbs, they take a test, and they think they're done. But high-level English isn't math. It's a mindset. It's an operating system for your life.
That is a heavy concept, an operating system.
It is. If you want to speak with class, authority, and influence, you cannot just change your vocabulary. You have to change the person behind the words. You can't speak like a CEO if you think like an intern.
That is exactly why this channel exists. We don't just give you a list of idioms, we give you the biography of greatness so you can see those idioms in action. We analyze the psychology of success so your English becomes a vehicle for your ambition, not just a tool for translation.
We are here to destroy the trap of good enough. Most of you listening are comfortable. Your English is okay. You can order a coffee, you can send an email, but okay is the enemy of great. Stagnation is a silent killer.
Stagnation. Let's pause there. That is a crucial word for our listeners. Stagnation. It means a state of not moving, flowing, or developing, like water in a pond that sits too long and becomes toxic.
Precisely. If your English has been the same for the last 3 years, you are stagnating. And today, we are going to shake that up. Today, we are exploring a life that defines the word determination.
We are going to look at a man who was rejected by the establishment, laughed at by his peers, and literally bombed by airplanes, yet still built one of the greatest brands in human history.
We are going back to a time of absolute destruction to see how one man turned a pile of hot bricks into a global empire. We are talking about the piston ring prophet. We are talking about Soichiro Honda.
If you're ready to move past average and start your journey toward extraordinary, then let's begin. This is the Level Up English Masterclass.
Let's level up. I want you to imagine a scene. It is 1945, Hamamatsu, Japan. The air is thick, choking with the smell of smoke, sulfur, and salt from the nearby sea.
It is a landscape of gray. The cities are gone. The infrastructure is gone. You are standing in front of a pile of rubble that used to be your dream.
Everything is gone, Nova. The factory you built with your own hands, bombed by American B-29s. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, the Mikawa earthquake struck and flattened what the bombs missed. You have $0. Your country is in ruins. You are hungry.
This is the moment where most human beings break.
Correct. Most people at that moment feel a cold shiver of realization. They look at the ruins and they perform a psychological audit. They say, I am poor, I am tired, the world is against me. It is time to give up. They settle for the rubble because it's easier than rebuilding.
To settle. Let's bookmark that. To settle. It means to accept a lower standard or a compromise because you are afraid of the struggle required to get what you actually want.
I'll settle for this low salary. I'll settle for broken English. I'll settle for living in the ruins. It is a disease of the mind. But Soichiro Honda, he didn't know how to settle. He had a psychological occupation with the future.
That is such a fascinating phrase, Atlas. Psychological occupation. It implies that his mind was already living in the future, even while his body was stuck in the wreckage of 1945.
Exactly. He looked at the debris, and he didn't see trash. He saw opportunity. He saw gifts from Emperor Truman.
He called the gasoline cans dropped by U.S. planes gifts?
He did. The American planes dropped fuel cans. Honda picked them up, not to sell for scrap, but to use as the raw material for his next invention. He called them gifts from President Truman to boost his own morale. That is a total mindset shift.
While his neighbors were mourning the past, he was scavenging the present to build the future.
He took a can of gasoline, attached a small radio generator engine to a bicycle, and filled the tank. His wife wanted to ride her bike to buy food, but she was too tired to pedal, so he built a motor. He didn't build a motorcycle company, Nova. He solved a problem for his wife.
And that is the lesson. Great English, like great business, solves a problem. But before we see the triumph, we have to understand the pain. We have to go back further.
We have to understand the blacksmith's son.
Let's look at the era details to understand the man. Honda was born in 1906 in a small village near Mount Fuji. This was the late Meiji era.
Context is key here.
Right. Japan was in a massive transition. They were moving from a feudal society of samurai and horses into the modern industrial age of steam and engines.
He grew up with the sound of a hammer hitting an anvil. His father was a blacksmith. Honda didn't grow up with books. He grew up with soot on his face. He didn't have a college degree. He had greasy hands and a burning curiosity.
There's a story that when the first Ford Model T drove through his village, a young Honda chased after it just to smell the oil dripping onto the dirt road.
He was addicted to the machine. At age 15, he packed a small bag and went to Tokyo to be an apprentice at an auto repair shop called Art Shokai. But here is the hard truth, Nova. He didn't get to work on cars.
No, he was the youngest. In the Japanese apprentice system of that time, the youngest does the grunt work.
He was cleaning floors. He was babysitting the owner's children. He was changing diapers. Imagine that. You have the mind of a genius engineer, and you are wiping a baby's bottom for pennies? He was doing just enough to make ends meet.
To make ends meet. Listeners, write this down. To make ends meet. It comes from dressmaking, making two ends of cloth reach each other. In business and life, it means earning just enough money to survive, to pay your bills and buy food with nothing left over.
Honda wasn't living the dream. He was surviving in the dirt, but he refused to stay there. He watched the mechanics. He stole knowledge with his eyes. Eventually, his boss let him touch a car, and once he touched it, he mastered it. But working for someone else wasn't enough.
So, in the late 1930s, he makes his big move. He starts a company to make piston rings, and he aims high. He wants to sell them to Toyota.
This is the part that gives me chills. He risked everything. He worked night and day in a small workshop. He slept on the floor. He looked like a wild man, hair unwashed, smelling of oil. He ran out of capital.
And this leads us to the famous detail: he pawned his wife's jewelry to keep the workshop running.
That is a high-stakes negotiation with his own future. He is betting his marriage, his reputation, and his livelihood on a metal ring.
And the result? He finished the piston rings. He took 50 of them to Toyota for testing.
Grimly, and Toyota accepted 3.
Only 3?
3 out of 50. They rejected 47 rings. They told him his quality was garbage. They told him he didn't understand metallurgy. They laughed at him. Can you imagine the internal credibility hit he took there, Nova?
To be told by the biggest company in Japan that you are incompetent, most people would crumble.
Most people would have quit. They would have gone back to fixing bicycles and complained about bad luck or the system. They would have played the victim. Honda did the opposite. He enrolled in technical school.
But he was an older man by then, relative to the students.
He was in his 30s sitting in a classroom with kids. The professors told him he was wrong, the students teased him, but he didn't care about the diploma. He only cared about the knowledge. He took the no from Toyota and turned it into a yes for his education.
He spent 2 years refining his process. He visited steel factories, he learned the chemistry of metal, and 2 years later,
He went back to Toyota, and this time they bought everything. He won.
but the victory was short-lived because then World War II began.
The government took control of his factory, then came the bombers we spoke about, then the earthquake. By 1945, he sold the remains of his company to Toyota for a fraction of its value and spent a year doing nothing but drinking homemade whiskey and playing the flute.
Sadly, he was mourning. It's important to remember that successful people are still human. He took a gap year of grief.
But the operating system didn't shut down, it just rebooted. That's when he saw the bicycle, that's when he saw the gas can, and that is when he founded the Honda Technical Research Institute.
Which sounds very prestigious, but was actually just a wooden shack.
A shack with a dream. He built the Bada Bada, a motorized bike that made a distinct pop-pop sound. It was ugly, it smelled, but it moved, and people loved it.
And this leads us to the American expansion in 1959. This is my favorite part of the linguistic history. Honda sent a team to Los Angeles.
Imagine this, it's 1959. America is the land of big cars, Cadillacs, muscle cars, leather jackets, the wild one with Marlon Brando. Motorcycles were for criminals and rebels. And here comes Honda with the Super Cub, a tiny, plastic, friendly-looking scooter.
Everyone told him, Americans want big beasts. They don't want this toy. He ignored them. He launched the campaign, You Meet the Nicest People on a Honda.
It was brilliant. He redefined the market. He didn't try to compete with Harley-Davidson. He created a new lane. He targeted teachers, nurses, students.
He didn't just sell a product, he sold a lifestyle. And within a few years, Honda was the #1 motorcycle manufacturer in the world, from the ashes of Hamamatsu to the highways of California. That is the power of refusing to settle. This is where the teaching gets practical. We've seen the life, now let's extract the linguistic blueprint. We are going to look at 3 verbs that Honda used to rebuild his life. These are verbs of action, not observation.
Pay attention. These are the words that build empires.
The first verb is to approach. Approach.
Most people wait. They wait for a job offer. They wait for a promotion. Honda didn't wait. When he needed money to build his engines, the banks said no, so he approached the crisis differently.
He wrote a personal letter to 18,000 bicycle shop owners across Japan. 18,000 letters. He approached them with a proposal.
In business English, you don't say, I asked him. You say, I approached the client with a solution. It implies strategy. It implies you were the one initiating the action.
Excellent. The second verb is to negotiate. Negotiate.
Many of you fear this word. You think it means conflict. But Honda wasn't asking for charity in those letters. He was negotiating a partnership.
He told the bike shop owners, if you send me a small amount of money now, I will make you a distributor of the future of transport.
He was trading value for value. If you want to level up, stop asking for things and start negotiating for them. Asking is for children. Negotiating is for professionals.
And the third verb, perhaps the most critical for long-term success, to reinvest. Reinvest.
This is the operating system of wealth. When the money finally started coming in from those bike shops, Honda didn't go buy a luxury house. He didn't buy a new suit. He took that capital and reinvested it into the technology, into the Super Cub engine.
To reinvest means to put your profit back into the system to create more growth.
And this applies to you, listening right now. If you are spending your free time scrolling on TikTok or watching mindless TV instead of studying your English, you are failing to reinvest in your most important asset, yourself.
You are consuming, not creating.
Exactly. You are building a cage of comfort, and that cage will eventually become your prison. You must reinvest your time into skills that pay you back later.
To help you communicate like a leader, we have your survival sentences. These are ready-made structures for those high-stakes moments when your wallet might be empty, but your plan is full.
I want you to repeat these. Do not just listen. If you are in the car, say it. If you are on the train, whisper it. You need to feel the vibration in your chest.
Scenario 1. You're in a meeting. You're new, and you need to assert your worth without sounding arrogant.
Repeat after me. I am looking for an opportunity to prove my value. 2-second pause. I am looking for an opportunity to prove my value.
Notice the stress on prove. You aren't asking for a handout, you're asking for a stage to perform.
Scenario 2. You have a great idea, but no budget. Don't apologize. Pivot. Repeat. I don't have the funds yet, but I have a plan. 2-second pause. I don't have the funds yet, but I have a plan.
Excellent. And finally, scenario 3. You are closing a deal. You want to sound like a partner, not a subordinate.
Repeat. Can we discuss a partnership that benefits us both? 2-second pause. Can we discuss a partnership that benefits us both?
Benefits us both. That is the language of an equal, Atlas. That is how you speak with class. You are elevating the other person while elevating yourself.
Soichiro Honda died a billionaire in 1991, but his real wealth wasn't in his bank account. It was in his credibility bank account.
He never broke a promise to himself. When the world said no, he said not yet.
Tonight, I want you to do something uncomfortable. When you brush your teeth, look in the mirror. Look yourself in the eyes and ask, did I move forward today, or did I just sit on the bench?
Honda didn't settle for the ruins of 1945. He didn't settle for good enough. Why are you settling for average in 2026?
We have given you the vocabulary. We have given you the blueprint, but we cannot do the work for you. Information without action is just entertainment. Don't be a tourist in your own life.
If you are ready to stop being a tourist and start being a professional, we have a tool for you. We've prepared a deep dive worksheet for this episode. It includes the vocabulary list, the survival sentences, and a fill-in-the-blank script for your next negotiation.
It's free. It's in the description. Go get it. Do the work.
And if you want to ensure you never miss a briefing, make sure you are subscribed. Next week, we are breaking down the psychology of Elon Musk. You do not want to miss that.
One last thing. In the comments below, I want you to write one of the survival sentences we practiced today. Declare it publicly. That is your first act of accountability.
Thank you for trusting us with your time today.
Keep grinding.
And keep leveling up.